Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're willing to work for consistently, day in and day out. See, too many people are waiting for the big break, that one moment when everything changes. But the truth, it's not about that one big moment. It's about the little moments stacked up, repeated every single day until discipline turns into destiny. If you want to live a life that matters, you can't drift. You've got to work on yourself every day, not once in a while, not when it's convenient, not when people are watching, every day. So tonight, I want to share with you 5 things you must work on every day if you truly want to rise above average and step into greatness. The first battle is always in the mind. That's where victory begins, and that's where defeat is born. Before you step out into the world, before you open your mouth, before you take the first step on your journey, the real war is happening inside your head. Every achievement, every success story, every dream that turned into reality, it all started with a thought. And every failure, every dream that died before it even got a chance to live, it also started with a thought. The difference is simple. What kind of thoughts did you allow to take root? You can have all the talent in the world. You can have skill that's unmatched. But if your mind is poisoned with doubt, fear, and negativity, you've already lost the battle before you even begin. That's why some of the most gifted people never reach their potential. They had the tools, but they didn't have the mindset. And the mindset, let me tell you, is the engine that drives the car of destiny. Think about this for a moment. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes to ever live, once said he missed over 9,000 shots in his career. He lost almost 300 games. 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and he missed. Most people would call that failure. Most people would let those numbers weigh them down, convince them that maybe they weren't good enough. But not him. He said, "I succeed because I fail over and over and over again." That right there is mindset. That's the difference between someone who lets failure bury them and someone who uses failure as fertilizer to grow. Mindset is the lens through which you see the world. If your lens is cracked, everything looks broken. If your lens is dirty, everything looks ugly. But if your lens is clear, if it's focused, you start to see possibilities where others only see problems. You start to see opportunities where others only see obstacles. The world hasn't changed. It's your perspective that has. Now here's the hard truth: life doesn't wait for you to get your mindset right. Every single day, the world is working on your mind whether you realize it or not. Social media is feeding you someone else's highlight reel, making you feel like you're not enough. News channels are pouring fear into your spirit, making you think the sky is falling. People around you, sometimes the ones closest to you, are projecting their insecurities onto you, telling you what you can't do because they never did it themselves. If you don't work on your mindset daily, the world will shape it for you. And trust me, the world doesn't always have your best interest at heart. So what does working on your mindset look like? It means you wake up each day and decide to feed your mind the right fuel. Just like you wouldn't put dirty oil in your car and expect it to run smooth, you can't put junk into your mind and expect to live a powerful life. That means reading something that challenges you, that stretches your thinking, that introduces you to a perspective bigger than your own. That means listening to voices that uplift you, that call out the best in you, instead of voices that drag you down. That means setting boundaries with negativity, because negativity is contagious, and if you let it linger around too long, it'll infect you. Every day you have to remind yourself, my thoughts shape my actions shape my habits shape my future. It all starts with the thoughts I entertain right now. And that's why mindset isn't something you fix once and forget. It's a daily workout. It's like going to the gym. You can't work out once and expect to stay fit for the rest of your life. You've got to keep showing up, keep building that mental muscle, because the world is constantly trying to tear it down. And let me tell you something. There will be days when the mindset you've built will be the only thing that carries you. Days when everything goes wrong, when the phone call you've been waiting for doesn't come, when the opportunity you were chasing slips through your fingers. In those moments, it's easy to collapse. But if you've worked on your mindset, you'll hear a different voice inside you. A voice that says, get back up. Try again. This is not the end of the story. I remember hearing about a young man who grew up in a rough neighborhood, surrounded by violence, poverty, and every reason in the world to give up. People around him told him he'd never make it. His teachers said he wasn't smart enough. His friends fell into drugs and crime. But he made a decision every day to feed his mind with something different. He read books instead of hanging out on the streets. He visualized a life beyond the walls of his block. He refused to let his environment dictate his future. And that mindset carried him through college, into a career, into a life nobody thought he'd have. That wasn't luck. That wasn't magic. That was mindset. See, mindset isn't just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about training yourself to see the world differently, to respond differently, to choose differently. When you get knocked down, it's mindset that whispers, this fall is not final. When you're afraid, it's mindset that tells you, courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward in spite of it. When people doubt you, it's mindset that declares, their opinion is not my destiny. You have to become the gatekeeper of your mind. You decide what comes in and what goes out. That's your responsibility, and nobody else can do it for you. If someone came to your house and started dumping trash in your living room, you'd stop them immediately. But every day, people are dumping mental trash into your head, and if you're not careful, you'll just let it pile up. Protect your mental space like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. And here's another thing. You don't have to get it right all the time. Nobody does. Some days your mindset will slip. Some days fear will get the best of you. Some days you'll doubt yourself. That's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. The goal is that you bounce back faster, that you don't stay down as long, that you catch those negative thoughts and replace them with stronger ones. That's growth. Mindset is the foundation of everything else you want in life. You want to be successful in your career. Start with your mind. You want stronger relationships. Start with your mind. You want peace, joy, fulfillment. Start with your mind, because nothing around you changes until something inside you changes. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just reach for your phone and scroll through other people's lives. Don't just replay yesterday's failures in your head. Take a moment to set your mind. Feed it with something that reminds you who you are and where you're going. Choose thoughts that build you, not break you. That's how you win the first battle of the day. And once you've won in your mind, the rest of the world doesn't stand a chance. You can't pour from an empty cup. That truth is simple, but so often we forget it. We live in a world that celebrates the grind, praises the hustle, and glorifies the long hours. We applaud people who stay up all night chasing their dreams, who skip meals in the name of ambition, who sacrifice their bodies for the promise of tomorrow. But here's the question: what good is chasing success if your body can't carry you to the finish line? What good is all the money, all the recognition, all the glory, if the very vessel that's meant to enjoy it is broken down? Every single day, your body whispers to you. Every single day, it gives you signals. It asks for respect, for care, for balance. The question is, are you listening? Think of your body like a car. Imagine you've just bought a beautiful brand new vehicle. You're excited. You drive it every day, push it hard, take it to the limits. But you never change the oil. You never service it. You keep filling it with cheap gas. You ignore the warning lights on the dashboard. And then one day, on the side of a lonely road, it breaks down. And you stand there surprised. But should you really be surprised? That's the way so many of us treat our bodies. We run on fumes. We say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. We grab the fastest food, the cheapest fuel, whatever's easy, whatever's quick, just to keep moving. We think we're invincible. Until the day the body says, no more. And when that day comes, it doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your ambitions. It doesn't care how much money is in your bank account. It doesn't care how many people are waiting for you. When the body says no, the answer is no. I've seen people who built empires, who had all the success in the world, but neglected the one thing they couldn't buy back: their health. They had the respect of millions, but they couldn't climb a flight of stairs without losing their breath. They had all the wealth in the world, but couldn't enjoy a simple meal without worrying about their heart. They had the power to move nations, but couldn't find the strength to play with their children. That's the trade off when you forget that health is not just something you should pay attention to. It's something you must protect every single day. And don't misunderstand me. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about living in the gym, cutting out every ounce of sugar, or following some impossible routine. It's about respect. It's about understanding that this body you've been given is your greatest tool, your greatest gift, your greatest responsibility. Even 20 minutes a day, just 20 minutes of movement can change your energy, your mood, your confidence. You don't have to run marathons. You don't have to bench press a mountain. Walk, stretch, dance, move your body. Give it life so that it can give life back to you. And let's talk about water. Simple, right? Just water. Yet so many of us go day after day dehydrated, living on sodas, coffee, energy drinks, things that promise quick fixes but drain us in the long run. Your body is made up of water. Your brain needs it. Your heart needs it. Your cells crave it. And yet we wonder why we feel sluggish, why we can't think clearly, why we're moody. Sometimes the difference between exhaustion and energy is a simple glass of water. The smallest things add up. Rest. That's another one. We treat sleep like it's optional. We treat it like it's a weakness, like the people who rest are lazy. But rest is not laziness. Rest is recovery. Rest is strength. The strongest athletes in the world, the ones who push their bodies beyond limits, they don't just train hard, they rest hard. They understand that growth happens in recovery. Healing happens in rest. And yet we, who are nowhere near pushing ourselves like them, act like sleep is something we can bargain with. We trade it for late night scrolling, for one more episode, for one more hour of work. And then we wake up exhausted, dragging ourselves through the day, pouring from that empty cup. You can't serve the world if you're running on fumes. But let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about you. Your health is not just about you. It's about being there for the people who count on you. It's about your children who want to see you not just succeed, but live long enough to share the success with them. It's about your partner who wants not just your achievements, but your presence. It's about your parents who work so hard to raise you, who don't want to bury you too soon. It's about your friends, your community, the people who love you. When you neglect your health, you're not just risking your own future, you're stealing from theirs. Because they don't just want what you can give, they want you alive, strong, whole. I've seen children cry at hospital bedsides because a parent didn't take care of themselves. I've seen families broken, not because of failure in business, but because of failure in health. And I've seen the opposite. I've seen people who chose to respect their bodies, who chose to give themselves the care they deserved. And because of that choice, they got to watch their children graduate. They got to hold their grandchildren. They got to live the moments that really matter. Success is meaningless if you're not alive to enjoy it. So I want to challenge you today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Take a look at the way you're living. Ask yourself, am I fueling my body or am I draining it? Am I resting it or am I running it into the ground? Am I respecting it or am I neglecting it? You don't have to change everything overnight. Start small. Drink more water today. Take a walk today. Go to bed earlier tonight. Choose one meal that fuels you instead of slows you down. Because those small steps, taken consistently, create transformation. And transformation isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in daily choices. And listen, I get it. Life is hard. Stress is real. Responsibilities pile up. Sometimes it feels like you don't even have the time to think about your health. But let me remind you, without your health, you don't have time for anything. Without your health, you don't have the strength to carry those responsibilities. Without your health, you don't have the energy to face life's battles. You can't lead if you can't stand. You can't serve if you can't move. You can't inspire if you can't breathe. When I look at people who are truly successful, not just in money, not just in fame, but in life, I see a common thread. They understood the value of their health. They respected their bodies. They didn't let ambition blind them to the reality that you only get one body, one life, one chance. And they made the choice over and over again to take care of it. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just reach for your phone. Reach for a glass of water. Don't just jump into the rush of the day. Take 10 minutes to move, to breathe, to stretch. Don't just fill your stomach with whatever's easy. Feed it something that fuels your strength. Don't just see sleep as an afterthought. Guard it like treasure, because it is treasure. I promise you this, when you take care of your health, everything else becomes easier, your mind becomes sharper, your energy rises, your relationships improve, your work gets better, your dreams become possible, because you're no longer dragging a broken body to the finish line. You're running strong, you're running free, and you're running ready to win. You can't pour from an empty cup, but if you keep that cup filled, if you keep it clean, if you guard it like it matters, because it does, you won't just have enough for yourself. You'll have enough for everyone who counts on you. And that, my friends, is the kind of success worth chasing. You were not born to just take up space. You were not put here to clock in, clock out, rinse and repeat until the years slip through your fingers. You were not made to live average, think small, or be forgotten. You were born with a craft, and that craft deserves your best. I'm talking about whatever it is you do, your work, your calling, your passion, your mission, your purpose. It deserves the excellence buried inside you, not just the scraps you leave after the world has taken its toll. Your craft, your gift, it's waiting for you to show up, not just in body, but in spirit, in intention, in grit. Every single day, we've all heard the phrase, show up, but that's not enough. Anyone can show up. Anyone can walk through the door, but not everyone brings fire with them. Not everyone steps in like it matters. When you walk in a room, you better bring your soul with you. You better bring that energy, that hunger, that weight of purpose. You don't just show up, you show out. You push yourself to do it better than yesterday. You sharpen your edge. You work at your craft like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. You see, excellence is not an accident. It's not something that lands in your lap because you got lucky or because the stars lined up. Excellence is forged in quiet moments. It's made in the unseen hours, when nobody's watching, when no one's applauding, when you're dead tired, but you do it anyway. It's built in sweat, in sacrifice, in repetition, not just in what you do when it's easy, but in how you carry yourself when it's hard. Let me tell you something. There was a man, just a janitor, some would say, working at NASA in the 1960s. He was sweeping floors, mopping up footprints left by engineers and astronauts. One day, the President of the United States walked in. He saw that janitor, mop in hand, and asked. That man didn't blink. He didn't say, I'm cleaning the floor, or just doing my job. No. He looked the President in the eye and said, I'm helping put a man on the moon. That's what happens when you know your craft matters. When you see the bigger picture. That janitor wasn't just cleaning. He was part of a mission. He was part of history. He saw himself as a thread in the fabric of something greater. And because of that, he didn't show up small. He showed up with pride. He showed up with purpose. He showed up knowing that every mop stroke, every polished tile, every step he took was a step toward the stars. That's what I'm talking about. Your role may not come with a spotlight. It may not come with applause or awards or a platform. But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It does. The way you parent your child, the way you teach in a classroom, the way you build your business, the way you create art, the way you lead, love, serve, and show up for your people, all of it matters. And when you work on your craft with pride, when you give it everything you've got, it becomes bigger than you. It becomes legacy. But let me be clear. You're not aiming for perfect. Forget perfect. Perfection is a trap. It'll paralyze you. It'll make you second guess, hesitate, and hold back. You're not in this to be perfect. You're in this to grow, to evolve, to stretch, to become. Progress, that's the goal. You work today to be better than you were yesterday. Just 1% better. That's it. That's the magic number, 1%. Because if you improve by just 1% every day, do you know where you'll be in a year? You'll be 37 times better. That's not inspiration, that's math. That's science. That's truth. But here's the thing about 1%. It doesn't come in grand gestures. It doesn't show up in big dramatic moments. It shows up in the grind, in the decision to stay 10 minutes longer, in the choice to practice when you'd rather sleep, in the focus you bring to the smallest detail. That's where greatness hides, in the little things. Small, consistent efforts, day after day, brick by brick. That's how you build something that lasts. I've seen too many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect feeling. They wait, and before they know it, life has passed them by. Stop waiting, start working. Start where you are, with what you've got. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need more commitment, more heart, more resilience. You've got what you need to get started. The rest will come when you move. But you've got to move. You've got to decide that your craft is worth the fight, because the truth is, nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, it's your time. You've got to claim it. You've got to go out there and take it. And when life knocks you down, and it will, you get back up. When you fail, and you will, you learn, adjust, and keep moving. When doubt creeps in, and it will, you remind yourself who you are and why you started. You keep working on your craft because your purpose is too important to abandon. There's something sacred about showing up to do the work, even when the world doesn't notice. There's power in honoring your gift, even when you feel unseen. Because eventually, the world catches up. Eventually, the light finds those who have been burning in the dark. But by then, you'll already be on fire. You'll already be ready because you've been doing the work all along, quietly, faithfully, relentlessly. And listen, this is not about success as the world defines it. This is not about fame, followers, or fancy titles. This is about fulfillment, about legacy, about laying your head on your pillow at night, knowing you gave your best, that you lived fully, that you honored the gift that was put inside you. That's what it's about. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't just chase dreams, but becomes worthy of them. So whatever your craft is, treat it with the reverence it deserves. Don't play small. Don't hold back. Don't settle for average. You weren't born for average. You weren't built for mediocre. You were crafted for greatness, molded in resilience, designed with purpose. Your job is to rise to that, to meet it with work, with discipline, with love. Because when you love your craft, when you pour yourself into it, it stops being work and starts being worship. It becomes a way you honor life itself. And in the end, the people who rise are not always the most talented. They're not always the smartest or the fastest. They are the ones who didn't quit. The ones who kept showing up, kept improving, kept sharpening their tools even when no one was clapping. The ones who didn't wait for someone to tell them they were enough. They worked until they knew it for themselves. You want to inspire others? You want to make change? You want to leave a mark? Then start with your craft, master your gift, respect your work, and give the world the best of what you've got. Not someday, not when it's easy, not when you feel like it, but now, every single day. That's how greatness is built, one act of excellence at a time. Work on your relationships every day. You've got to remember the people who make your life worth living. The ones who lift you when you fall, who cheer for you when you succeed, and who stand silently by your side when you don't even have the strength to ask for help. Those are the people that deserve your time, your energy, and your love. And yet, too often, we get so caught up in chasing our own goals, running toward our own dreams, that we forget the foundation holding us together, our relationships. Call your mom, hug your kids, support your friends. These sound like small acts, almost too simple to matter. But I'll tell you, this success means absolutely nothing if you have no one to share it with. You can build the biggest house, drive the fastest car, sit at the head of the biggest table. But if the seats around you are empty, that's not victory. That's loneliness. We live in strange times. Times where you can have thousands of followers online, likes pouring in on your pictures, comments from people you barely know, and still feel completely alone when you put the phone down. We are connected more than ever through screens, but disconnected more than ever in our hearts. And the truth is, that kind of connection doesn't warm you on cold nights, doesn't wipe your tears when you're hurting, doesn't stand by your hospital bed when life shakes you to your core. That's why I say, don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late to value people. Don't wait until the chair at the table is empty and you wish you had just one more day, one more chance, one more conversation. A text message takes 10 seconds to send, but for someone silently drowning, it can be the lifeline that pulls them back. A phone call, a hug, a visit. They may feel small, but to someone who feels unseen, unheard, forgotten, they are everything. Relationships are like plants. You water them a little every day, they grow. You ignore them, they wither and die. It doesn't take grand gestures, expensive gifts, or elaborate plans to nurture them. It takes consistency. It takes showing up. It takes reminding people that they matter, not once a year, not only on their birthdays, but in the ordinary days where they feel like nobody notices. Think about it. At the end of life, nobody says, I wish I worked more overtime. Nobody says, I wish I spent more hours staring at spreadsheets, more years chasing deadlines, more nights locked in the office. What they say is, I wish I spent more time with the people I love. I wish I told my parents how much they meant to me. I wish I hugged my children longer. I wish I had been there for my friends when they needed me. That's the truth. Those are the regrets people carry to the grave, not the ones about money, not the ones about status, but about love. And you know why. Because at the core of being human, what we crave most isn't wealth, it isn't fame, it isn't achievements, it's connection. We want to be seen, we want to be valued. We want to know that we matter to someone and that someone matters to us. But here's the challenge: we take people for granted. We think they'll always be there. We think our parents will always pick up the phone. We think our friends will always be a message away. We think our children will always run into our arms when we walk through the door. Until one day, life teaches us the hardest lesson, that nothing lasts forever. I remember hearing a story of a man who was so caught up in his career that he missed countless dinners, birthdays, anniversaries, all for the promise of providing a better life. But when his wife left, when his kids grew distant, he realized he had been working for a family that no longer felt like family. He had built everything but lost the very reason he was building it. That's the tragedy of forgetting relationships. They don't pause while you chase success. They keep moving, and if you don't keep up, you wake up one day and they're gone. So let me tell you this: work on your relationships now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient, now. Because the people you love are living, breathing blessings that you can't afford to postpone. Think about your mom. How many times has she sacrificed without you knowing? How many meals, how many sleepless nights, how many prayers she whispered for you when nobody else saw? All it takes is one phone call to remind her that you remember, that you're grateful. Think about your kids. They don't care about how much money you made today. They care about how much time you spent with them. They don't measure your love by gifts. They measure it by presence. Every hug, every bedtime story, every laugh shared, that's what they'll remember long after the toys are broken and the gifts are forgotten. Think about your friends, the ones who stood with you in your lowest seasons, the ones who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. Don't just call them when you need something. Call them because you care. Call them because you want to check in. Call them because you want them to know they matter. Because let me tell you, loneliness is a silent killer. People walk around smiling on the outside and breaking on the inside, and a simple, "How are you really doing?" could be the difference between despair and hope. You never know the battle someone is fighting, the weight they're carrying, the nights they're crying themselves to sleep. Your words, your time, your presence could be the medicine they desperately need. And let's be real, it's not just about them, it's about you too. Relationships make you whole. They keep you grounded. They remind you that life isn't just about climbing higher, but about holding tighter. When the storms of life come, and they will, it won't be your trophies or your bank account that comforts you. It will be the arms of the people you loved, the voices of the people you cherished, the memories of the moments you chose to show up. I've seen people chase everything: money, fame, recognition, and when they finally got it, they sat alone in a big house with nobody to share it with. And the smile they were chasing the fulfillment they thought they'd feel, it never came. Because joy doesn't come from things, it comes from people, it comes from love, it comes from connection. So what does working on your relationships look like? It looks like forgiveness. Because let's be honest, people will hurt you, disappoint you, fail you, and you'll do the same to them. But holding on to grudges, carrying bitterness, building walls, it doesn't protect you, it poisons you. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing to let love matter more than pain. It looks like sacrifice. Sometimes you give up comfort, convenience, even your own desires to show someone you care. Relationships thrive not on selfishness, but on selflessness. It looks like communication. Saying the hard things, the real things, the vulnerable things. Not just small talk, not just surface level chatter, but heart-to-heart honesty that says, I trust you with my truth. It looks like consistency. Not grand gestures once in a blue moon, but the steady daily choice to show up, to check in, to stay connected. And it looks like presence. Not just being in the room, but really being there. Putting the phone down, turning the TV off, and looking someone in the eye as if they're the only person that matters in that moment. Because in that moment, they are. If you want your relationships to grow, you have to feed them. Time is the food. Attention is the water. Love is the sunlight. Without them, they starve. With them, they flourish. Don't be the person who wakes up at a funeral and realizes you should have said more, should have done more, should have been there more. Don't wait until the chance is gone. Do it now. Say it now. Show it now. Because life is short and tomorrow is never promised. All we truly have is today. And if today you choose to work on your relationships, if today you choose to love louder, hug tighter, forgive quicker, call sooner, then when your final day comes, you won't leave with regret. You'll leave with love. Work on your spirit, and finally, work on your spirit. Because life will test you. Storms will come. And when the winds blow, it won't be your money, your degrees, or your titles that keep you steady. It'll be your spirit. Think about that for a moment. We spend so much time working on what people can see. Our careers, our bodies, our possessions. We polish the outside but neglect the inside. But when life hits, and believe me, it will hit, it's not the outside that saves you. It's what's deep inside, what can't be taken, what can't be bought, what can't be handed over. It's your spirit. Call it faith. Call it purpose. Call it your inner fire. Whatever name you give it, feed it daily. Because a starving spirit will make a strong person weak. A hungry soul will make a rich man poor. A neglected heart will make a successful person empty. But when you feed your spirit, when you pour into it daily, you become unshakable. Storms will come. They don't knock before they enter. They don't send you a polite notice saying, get ready. They just come. A phone call in the middle of the night, a diagnosis you never expected, a betrayal from someone you trusted, a door slammed in your face after you worked so hard. And in those moments, your resume can't help you. Your bank account can't comfort you. Your titles, your trophies, your status, they can't heal you. Only your spirit can. That's why you've got to feed it.
Premeditate.
Reflect. Spend time in gratitude. Don't just rush through life chasing the next thing, the next achievement, the next goal. Pause. Breathe. Be still. Connect with something bigger than yourself. Because without that connection, you will always feel empty, no matter how much you fill your hands with. Gratitude? Let me tell you about gratitude. Gratitude shifts everything. Gratitude takes your eyes off what's missing and puts them on what's present. Gratitude turns a meal of bread and water into a feast because you're not focused on what you don't have, you're celebrating what you do. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. You can't be hopeless and grateful at the same time. Try it. Think about the things you've lost, the things that went wrong, the doors that closed. And then in that same moment, think about the people you still have, the breath in your lungs, the second chance in front of you. You'll feel the shift. That's the power of gratitude. We live in a world that constantly tells us to want more, buy more, chase more. And in the process, we forget to appreciate what's already in our hands. That's why so many people climb mountains of success only to stand at the top feeling empty. Because the mountain was never the problem. The spirit was. When you work on your spirit, you start to see life differently. You start to walk with peace even in chaos. You start to carry hope even in darkness. You start to smile even when circumstances don't give you a reason. That's not theory, that's survival. Because if you've ever been broken, if you've ever been down to nothing, if you've ever cried yourself to sleep wondering how you're going to make it another day, then you know it wasn't your possessions that carried you. It was your spirit. Something deep inside whispered, "Keep going." Something deep inside reminded you, this isn't the end. There's a reason why some people lose everything and still rise, while others have everything and still fall apart. The difference is spirit. Spirit is the anchor that keeps you steady when everything around you is shifting. Spirit is the light that guides you when the path is covered in darkness. Spirit is the fire that warms you when life turns cold. But here's the truth. You can't wait until the storm comes to start building your spirit. You've got to build it now. You don't build a roof in the middle of a thunderstorm. You build it while the sun is shining, so when the rain comes, and it will, you're covered. That means don't wait until you're broken to start praying. Don't wait until you're lost to start seeking. Don't wait until you're empty to start filling your soul. Do it now, every day, because one day you'll need it. Spend time in reflection. Ask yourself, who am I becoming? What really matters? What am I chasing? And is it feeding me or draining me? Sit in silence sometimes, because in silence you hear what the noise of the world drowns out, the voice of your own spirit. And don't confuse noise with nourishment. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're full. Just because you're surrounded by people doesn't mean you're connected. Just because you're achieving doesn't mean you're growing. You have to intentionally feed your spirit. Maybe that's prayer for you, pouring out your heart, seeking guidance, surrendering what you can't control. Maybe that's meditation, quieting the storm in your mind, finding clarity, learning to listen. Maybe it's reflection, writing in a journal, revisiting your choices, asking if the road you're on is really the one you want to take. Or maybe it's gratitude, waking up every morning and saying, "Thank you," before your feet even hit the floor. Because gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. It's choosing to see the gift in the ordinary. Choosing to focus on the blessings, not just the burdens. And when you live with gratitude, even the smallest moments become miracles. A smile becomes priceless. A conversation becomes sacred. A meal becomes holy. Let me remind you, strength isn't found in how much you can carry, but in how deeply your spirit is rooted. A tree doesn't survive storms because of how many branches it has, but because of how deep its roots go. And your spirit is your root. If it's shallow, the first strong wind will knock you down. But if it's deep, no storm can uproot you. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about because you've been through storms that should have broken you. You've had seasons where everything said you wouldn't make it. But here you are. Maybe you're scared, maybe you're tired, but you're here. That's your spirit at work. That's your inner fire refusing to die out. And if it carried you before, it can carry you again. But it only carries you if you keep feeding it. Stop starving your spirit while you feed everything else. Stop giving your energy to things that drain you and ignoring the very thing that sustains you. Invest in your soul the way you invest in your body, your mind, your career. Because what good is a strong body, a brilliant mind, a full wallet, if your spirit is empty? I've seen people with nothing who radiate joy, and people with everything who are miserable. The difference isn't money, it isn't status, it's spirit. Spirit is wealth that can't be stolen, peace that can't be shaken, strength that can't be broken. And don't miss this. Spirit doesn't just carry you, it changes how you carry others. When your spirit is full, you pour into others. You lift them when they're down. You become a source of light in their darkness, hope in their hopelessness, peace in their chaos. But when your spirit is empty, you have nothing to give. That's why working on your spirit isn't selfish. It's necessary. Because the stronger your spirit, the more you can be there for others. Life will test you. And it won't be a gentle test. It'll be the kind that shakes you to your core, that strips away everything you thought was certain. But if your spirit is strong, you'll bend but not break. You'll stumble but not fall. You'll cry but still rise, because a strong spirit doesn't promise a storm-free life, but it promises a storm-proof soul. So feed it daily, pray, meditate, reflect, give thanks. Find purpose beyond yourself. Anchor yourself in something eternal, something unshakable. Because at the end of the day, when everything else fades, when titles are forgotten, when possessions are gone, when achievements are dust, it's your spirit that will remain. And it's your spirit that will carry you through. So every day, work on these 5 things: your mindset, your health, your craft, your relationships, and your spirit. Do that, and you won't just get through life, you'll rise in it. Because greatness isn't built in a day, it's built daily. See, too many people think greatness is this one big moment, this single event that changes everything. They think it's about luck, about being in the right place at the right time, about waiting for an opportunity that falls from the sky. But greatness isn't a lottery ticket. It's not a miracle. It's a process. It's brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. It's the small things that no one sees, repeated until they build something no one can ignore. You want to change your life? Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start today. Work on your mindset, because the battle always begins in the mind. Work on your health, because the body is the only vehicle you get to travel this life in. Work on your craft, because your gifts were given to you to be sharpened, not wasted. Work on your relationships, because success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. And work on your spirit, because when the storms come, and they will, it's your spirit that will hold you steady. That's the formula. That's the blueprint. And if you're consistent, if you choose discipline over distraction, then one day you'll look back and see how far you've come. You'll see how those small daily choices built the life you dreamed of. And remember this: discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. Everybody's got dreams. Everybody's got visions of what they want to do, who they want to be, where they want to go. But dreams without discipline, they stay dreams. They stay stuck in notebooks, stuck in your head, stuck in late night conversations where you say, one day I'll get there. Discipline is what turns a one day into this day. Discipline is what turns ideas into actions and actions into results. Think about it. Every great building you've ever seen was once just a blueprint. Every great performance was once just practice in an empty room. Every great success story was once just a person alone, choosing to show up even when nobody was watching. That's what discipline does. It takes you from dreaming about it to living in it. But here's the truth: it won't be easy. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. Days when your mind tells you, stay in bed. Days when your body says, I'm too tired. Days when distractions are louder than your purpose. That's when discipline becomes your best friend. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel, it cares about what you do. And if you keep doing the right things, even on the hard days, the results will follow. I'll tell you something I've learned: people often overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a year. They think change has to be instant, dramatic, massive. But real change is gradual. Real change is daily. You stack small wins, you build momentum, and over time, the impossible becomes inevitable. So don't get discouraged if you don't see results right away. Don't quit because it feels slow. A seed doesn't become a tree overnight. A foundation doesn't become a house in a week. But if you keep watering it, if you keep laying the bricks, one day you'll step back and see something beautiful, something strong, something that lasts. Your life is no different. The mindset you build today will shape how you face tomorrow. The health you build today will carry you years down the road. The craft you sharpen today will open doors in the future you can't even see yet. The relationships you nurture today will be the voices cheering you on when life gets tough. And the spirit you feed today will be the anchor that keeps you grounded when the storms rage. Greatness isn't luck. It isn't handed to you. It's burned. It's cultivated.